JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 21st of July 2021, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's, Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page. So if you go here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, it will take you to our page, which we update on a daily basis. So you have to check us out here, and I believe you can find a lot of useful information here. Now, jumping into the charts, guys, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. Now, yesterday I talked about this potential idea where we could maybe see a nice little island reversal, and what I meant by that is that if we open up today, today's trading session, if it would open above yesterday's close here with a gap to the upside here, then yep, all these last three candles here could be forming a possible island reversal, which means that maybe we could see there is a greater chance for a push back to the upside. However, what I also said, that in order to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, yep, push above this 27,795 territory would be needed, and then yes, maybe higher levels could be met. But at the moment, basically, long story short, you can see that it's kind of stuck here. It's still near that 208 EMA, although the index closed today in positive territory. So that kind of still gives a bit of hope here for the buyers. So let's see if we can actually climb back above this 27,795 territory. If not, and instead the index starts falling heavily below this 27,385 territory, now that's where, yep, it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more sellers, because such a move here would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and well, potentially lower levels could be met, guys. Shanghai Composite very quickly so pushed nicely to the upside and came close to this key resistance barrier near the 3,567 territory. So basically, as I mentioned before, I need that push here above this area in order to consider maybe some higher moves. At the moment, I'm just keeping an eye on this because at the moment, I mean, you can see yourselves that it's just basically ranging here a little bit. So yep, in order to kind of in order to consider maybe a move higher towards the upper bound of the slightly wider range where we are currently stuck in, we need to see a move through this midpoint of this bigger range, which is, like I said, this 3,567 territory, and then yes, potentially more buyers could join in. Until then, we're just observing this one, and yep, keeping an eye on the price action. Oh, and by the way, just to remind you that, yeah, we still have around 50 minutes left of trading here on Shanghai Composite. So yeah, keep your eyes on that one, and keep your eyes on this barrier. We're very close to it. Now, the German index. So the upside line, this long-term upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March, continues to hold. So that's kind of good news for the buyers, because still this kind of keeps the positivity on the table, keeps the positive outlook on the table. If we look at the cash index, we'll see that the price is currently sitting around 15,238 zone, so basically just slightly above yesterday's close. So in other words, still above this upside line together with the 100-day EMA. However, of course, given the strong decline that we saw here, yes, we could see a continuation move. However, in order to consider lower areas, well, now what I'm going to be looking at here is the current lowest point of this week near the, let's round it up here a little bit, the 15,050 territory. So in order to get a little bit more comfortable, let's say, with further declines, then yes, a break below this hurdle would be needed, because at the same time we would be placed already below the upside support line and this 100-day EMA. For the upside, now what I need here is a push back above the 15,456 territory, somewhere around here, and then yes, we could maybe consider a move to the upside. The S&P 500, so beautiful rebound yesterday as well, and look at this, I mean, move, we came back above the 21-day EMA, so basically all this kind of course, gives a bit of hope here for the buyers, because this upside line also held nicely. The only my little issue here is this little short-term tentative downside line right here, and if we, in order to aim for the upside, well, a break of this downside line taken from the high of the 14th of July would be needed, and at the moment where I would say we're just kind of stuck here. So let's see which way we're going to break out to. If it breaks this upside line, then certainly yes, lower levels could be met. However, to be a little bit more on the safe side, I would say wait for a drop below the current lowest point of this week near the 4,233 territory, and if that gets cleared, then yes, the door could be opened towards the lowest point of June near the 4,164 level, and then of course we'll take it from there. But that's, of course, like I said, that's in terms of the downside, and if we drop below the current lowest point of this week. Now, DXY, the dollar index, very quickly. So, yep, we continue to push higher, and this idea that I talked about in the beginning of this week, if you remember, the bearish 3 method. So yeah, didn't work out. So we have to admit that. But it continues to push nicely. The index continues to push nicely here higher. My next target is this 93.44 level, near that area, near the highest point of March. So at the moment, as long as we stay above this 92.85 territory, then yes, we'll continue targeting the upside here, and we'll continue aiming for that highest point of March. In terms of the downside, well, previously I talked about this 92 zone. However, I would say if it starts dropping back below this 92.85 zone, then, well, this is where we could maybe consider a bit of a correction here to the downside, and then we'll take it from there. Jumping into gold very quickly, so gold continues to balance above this downside line taken from the high of the 7th of August, and yep, for now I would say for now, it's kind of a bit of a no man's game here, because the commodity continues to oscillate around all of its EMAs, which are kind of getting jammed up here in one. And you can see the 21-day, the 100-day EMA, and the black one here, the 200-day EMA. All of them are getting kind of like I said, getting all together, and the commodity continues to oscillate around those. So for now, it's like I said, it's a bit of an undecided market here. So what I'll say for now, I'm going to probably stick to the same idea that I've mentioned in the beginning of this week, where I said that in a way, if we continue to trade above this downside line, the one that I mentioned previously, and if we continue to slide along it, but on the top of it, then, well, maybe we could see actually the upside later on. So we could see maybe the bulls jumping in somewhere here and then pushing this one higher. So again, be very careful with that, and for now that's the little game plan here. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 1791-92 zone right here, and then yes, lower levels could be met. Now silver drifted nicely to the downside and came very close to testing this 24.69 level, the one that I mentioned recently, and that's the low of the 13th of April. And to be honest, I think that we might even take this as already kind of an accomplished move, although not really kind of hit this level, but came very close to it. So, and then started reversing back to the upside. Now, of course, I would say because we're currently trading below this 200-day EMA, then there is a good likelihood we could see a move to the downside at some point. But yeah, guys, I mean, again, also keep your eyes on DXY. Let's see how that's going to play out, because if DXY suddenly reverses sharply to the downside, then, well, I mean, guess what? I mean, silver could pop higher, maybe even coming back above this 200-day EMA, and maybe coming back above this 25.71 territory right here, and then we could consider maybe a move back to the upside. However, at the moment, what we can see here is that we can see that the commodity remains below that 200-day EMA. So it still means that there is a good chance to maybe see a test of this 200-day EMA from underneath, and then if it holds, another slide could be possible. Jumping into WTI Oil, and here you can see that the commodity is trying to make its way higher, and it's really not letting go of this upside line taken from the low of the 5th of April. Yesterday we saw a bit of a drift lower here below the 65.60 zone, and we did get a brief drop below it, but as you can see, the bulls kind of pushed the commodity back up here. So let's see if we can actually climb back up here. However, in order for me to consider the upside, I still would prefer to get a push back above the 70.79 territory, somewhere around here, and then kind of aim for the upside. For now, I'm just going to be very careful, I would say. And I'm going to keep an eye on some of these levels. So for the upside, I need that push above this barrier, but for the downside, a drop below the 65.60 territory, somewhere around here, might do the trick for more sellers. Ethereum, very quickly on Ethereum, so good hold up near this key support zone, which is the lowest point of June, which is around the that 1701 zone, or in a way we could round it up towards the 1700 level. So good rebound from here. It's trying to make its way higher. However, as you can see, the crypto remains below all of the EMAs. It remains below this downside line, so still the downside scenario is not off the table. But again, this downside scenario, if we look at the bigger picture, we'll see that this downside scenario could be classed as a temporary correction, because we are still trading above this upside line, so taken from the low of the 4th of November of 2020. So yeah, guys, for now, keep your eyes on that one. Also, from the very, very short-term perspective, keep your eyes on this little short-term downside line. If it continues to provide resistance, then, well, I mean, another slide here could be possible, but still I'm waiting for that drop below this hurdle, below the 1700 level, in order to get a little bit more comfortable with the downside. With the upside here, a push back above, somewhere above this area, somewhere above this 1993 territory, marked by the high of the 18th of July, might do the trick for a few more buyers here, guys, at least in the near term. AUD guys drifting to the downside, so violating once again this 0.6735 territory. And now looking at this, I mean, it seems that yes, the pair wants to drift further south. Let's see where this is going to end up going, but at the moment, if we do continue to trade below this 0.6735 territory, my next target will be this one right here, this area approximately around here near the 0.6655 territory, and then yes, we could take it from there. For now, long story short, looking at this picture here, yes, we are leaning a little bit more towards the downside, but I would prefer to see the pair kind of still continuing to trade below the 0.6735 territory. If so, then yes, my next target could be this 0.6655 level right here. NZDUSD. So this one is quite interesting. So we continue to trade below this downside line taken from the high of the 27th of May, and as you can see, we are now dropping, or should I say yesterday we dropped nicely below this 0.6923 territory I spoke about previously. We stayed below it, and now it seems that yes, we could see further declines. Also, if we drop below this yesterday's low near the 0.6881. So for now, yes, I'm still leaning towards the downside here, but to get a little bit more comfortable with slightly lower levels, I need to see maybe a drop below yesterday's low, which is roughly around the 0.6881 zone right here. Jumping into USDJPY very quickly, so this one is a bit of a roller coaster ride here. As you can see, it climbed back above this highlighted territory, the one that I spoke about previously, the one that I looked at as a good support area, which if it gets broken could open the door towards lower levels. I have to admit the pair didn't really move all the way to this area which I was targeting. It only moved half of the way. It got a hold up near this 100-day EMA, so this is a perfect example when we keep an eye on some of these EMAs sometimes, and yeah, from here we rebounded and pushed higher again. Now we need to adjust this chart a little bit, so let me just clear up this chart again, and let me start fresh. So first of all, looking at the EMAs, you can see that yes, we're trading below this 21-day EMA here, but we have nicely rebounded from the 100-day EMA. So that means that what we need here right now is to keep an eye on some of the levels, just to kind of simplify our lives a little bit here. So if you want to aim for the upside, well, you would probably need to wait for at least a break of this downside line taken from the high of the 2nd of July, and at the same time, if we do see that break, we would see a push above the 21-day EMA as well, and potentially more buyers could join in. However, don't forget that we might see something like this, what we had, for example, here last week on the 13th and the 14th of July. So yeah, that's why be very careful with these breaks here, these breakouts, but of course, if we do see that push above this downside line, above this 21-day EMA, then more buyers could join in. For the downside, which is pretty straightforward, a drop below the current lowest point of this week and near the 109.06 level would confirm a forthcoming lower low, would also place the pair below the 100-day EMA, and yeah, more sellers could join in here, where the next potential target here for support could be somewhere around here near the 108.34 level, marked near the lowest point of May. Yep, there we go. So good target, good potential area for examination, but again, a break of this current lowest point of this week would be needed. Now, GBPCAD, the Canadian dollar, was one of the stronger ones yesterday, unlike on Monday, but of course that gave boost the thing that gave the boost to the Canadian dollar was, of course, the slightly recovering oil and the fact that U.S. and Canada are planning to reopen their borders with each other, and yep, that kind of gave, like I said, gave a boost. This positive news gave a boost to Canadian dollars. So, and this is what we got here. So we got the GBPCAD here drifting heavily to the downside, however remaining above all of its EMA, so which means that there is a chance maybe for a nice rebound and maybe a push back to the upside. Of course, the reason why I'm also saying this is because well, let's not forget that oil is still one of the main drivers of the, and if oil is it will continue to decline, well, I mean, we could see Canadian dollar here drifting, devaluing against most of its major counterparts, and yep, we could see this one pushing back to the upside. Now, for the let's say for now, for the downside, if we drop below all of the EMAs and then also drop below this 1.1793 territory, then yes, we'll aim for this upside support line taken from the low, the 6th of May. EURGBP. Now, this is what I talked about last week. If you remember, I talked about this little possible falling wedge pattern, which, as you can see, kind of worked out nicely here. So we broke the upper side of the falling wedge, and yep, we climbed higher. We moved above this 0.8642 territory, and well, it seems that it wants to continue pushing further north. However, my initial target was the 0.8672 territory, approximately around here. Yesterday we managed to reach that area, so kind of, I would say, mission accomplished here for now. Now, looking at this picture, maybe what could happen is maybe we could see a bit of a retracement or something like that. However, we're still trading above the 100-day EMA, and I would say as long as it stays above that, then basically we have a decent chance of drifting further north. Now, here, now this is where the interesting bit could come in. In a way, the pair might get a hold up somewhere near this 200-day EMA, and if it does, then yep, a bit of a slide here back down, a bit of a correction could be possible. So yeah, keep your eyes on this. But for now, like I said, if we, for example, if we climb above yesterday's high or near this 0.8671-72 territory, then yes, my next target is the 200-day EMA, and then maybe something like this could happen. EURUSD. So EURUSD is drifting nicely to the downside, breaking the once again, I would say, breaking this 1.1772 territory. As you can see in the past 2 days and this week, I mean, we have been breaking this support area. However, the daily candle was kind of ending still above this. Now we're getting a third break here. Can we get that daily candle staying below this? Well, I mean, let's wait and see. But for at the moment, everything's kind of leaning nicely towards the downside. So let's see if we stay below this hurdle here. Then my next target is the lowest point of March near the 1.1704 level, and then we'll take it from there, guys. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your likes. I really do. So I hope you found it useful, and if you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.